Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe today. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Today I am going to be doing top 5 best mods for a BMW GS. This is one of the best selling bikes in the world, and obviously there's a lot of mods and a lot of support for this bike, and there's a lot of use applications for this bike. It's a good on-road bike. People take it off-road, they take it on dirt roads, they take it through the woods, they take it to the track. This bike has all kinds of possible uses, and as somebody who owns a BMW GS with a whole bunch of mods, and also importantly somebody who has driven a BMW GS that was completely stock, I can definitely tell you the difference. Some of the most useful mods between a stock BMW GS and a GS that's fully modded. There definitely are some favorites that I have and some that I think are really useful. So without further ado, let's get into the top 5 best mods for a BMW GS. Coming in at number 5, we have a skid plate. Obviously, the BMW GS is a great all-around bike, but its original intention was to have some off-road capability. And I think if you are going to take this bike off-road at all, you really should upgrade the skid plate. The stock skid plate is it's fine, but it is a pretty chintzy piece of metal. And I wouldn't be surprised if you'll definitely dent it if you're taking it in anywhat of a serious off-road condition. But I could almost see you piercing the stock one too. So I would say the 5th most important mod for a BMW GS, if you're going to take it off-road, would be a good skid plate, just so you don't damage the bottom of your engine or anything. Then coming in at number 4, I would say a windshield. The stock BMW GS has a really short, tiny windshield that does almost nothing. It might, take a little bit of air off your chest, but in the grand scheme of things, it does almost nothing. It's almost useless. So if you want to ride, just and be relaxed, not have a bunch of wind pressure on you, be able to maybe ride with your visor open, I would say a windshield is extremely useful for that bike. The GSA windshield is pretty available, and it's even somewhat affordable from BMW themselves. And that is the windshield that I actually run on my bike. It's a good height for me. It could maybe be a smidge higher, but it does allow a good amount of air in your face still, but it kind of blocks all that blasting wind and just gives you a calmer flow of air into your face. And obviously there's all different kinds of companies that make these windshields. You can get them in any height or any width. So it's pretty customizable here, but the stock one is super tiny, and I would definitely recommend upgrading it to something bigger. Coming in at number 3, I would say the 3rd most important or best mod for a BMW GS would be handlebar risers, and then also a brake line extender, since when you raise the handlebars up, you also need to extend the brake line. So you can get a little extender to do that so that the brake line can actually reach the now higher bars. But the stock handlebars in the BMW GS do have you leaned over quite a bit, which is good, and you can then put some pressure on the bars, which is actually the most ideal position for good cornering and even to have proper form when you're off-roading. But I will say that if you're doing long days, long highway miles, big days on a trip, I will say that the bars are a bit too forward from stock, and you probably will end up with some back pain unless you have longer arms. But for me, I definitely wanted the bars up and back a little bit, so handlebar risers were actually super nice, super comfortable, and kind of allow you to just lay back in your seat and relax a little bit more. Coming in at number 2 then, I would say are foot pegs. The stock foot pegs on a BMW GS I could not stand, and made the bike almost undrivable for me. With how big my boot was, I could not get my boot underneath the shifter with how high up the foot peg was. And I think there is some customization there. You can adjust the angle of the shifter, I believe. The foot pegs actually do lower them a little bit too, which not only allowed me to get my boot underneath the shifter comfortably and just slide it in there and be able to naturally get my boot under the shifter so I'm able to shift, but it also does give you a little bit more leg room. Your legs are a little bit more relaxed. They're not as cramped up. Foot pegs, which lowered foot pegs, obviously give you some leg comfort, and then also allowed me to get my foot actually under the shifter while wearing good boots on that motorcycle. So it was something that really annoyed me on the stock bike and was amazing mod in terms of comfort and overall drivability for that bike. And then coming in at number 1, I would say a seat cover. The stock seat on that bike is obviously smaller. It is a smaller bike. It was meant for off-roading, but I primarily use it for long trips, and I think it's a great bike for that. And the stock seat is just really kind of hard on that bike, and your ass gets a little sweaty on those long days. I personally have a wind rider cover on my seat, which not only lets some air in on my pants so I don't get as sweaty, but also provides a bunch of comfort, and it gives you a little bit of extra cushion and is just a great overall seat modification to make the seat more comfortable. And then obviously it does raise you up a little bit, so that also gives you a little bit more leg room so your legs aren't as cramped and bent up as they are from stock. I was thoroughly blown away and super impressed with the Wind Rider seat cover, and they made one that fit that bike. They do not make one that fits the new 1300. My dad has been looking, so that's been a challenge, especially since we like it so much on the old ones. I mean, they really just are great. They provide the comfort and the airflow, and I wouldn't want to ride that bike without it, and that's definitely the number 1 mod. So with that, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.